You sure?
100% sure that we are unmuted and we are live on the YouTube for the the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. I am Marcus, the grand finale, joined by.
Lord Manny Hayes.
All
How are
right,
you? How are you today, Marcus?
I am fantastic. I really thought you were going to do the hey hey ho ho. I didn't know if you were really going to do the Marcus and Manny show interest
I
like
don't
that
know
from
if
now
I
on.
don't know if that's our intro. I
I feel
feel like
like
that should be our. I feel like that should be our intro.
I feel like it should be, and is well stolen. I feel like I'm a pirate in my deepest, darkest heart, and I feel like
But
stealing this entrance will be the greatest thing ever.
like, I feel like we should do it here. But I feel like when we do it on the main show, it's even funnier because we get the hatred
Yeah,
from Eric.
I feel like on every show we need to figure out a way to get the hatred from Eric of some random things we done. Like, oh, we came up with this on the side, and Eric never saw it coming. He never saw that coming.
Like an RKO, he never saw it coming.
All right, welcome, Wes. Drake, thanks for joining the chat. For the people in the chat, we will not ignore the chat today, as we have previously done, but we will answer questions after each segment if you have any. So we will start the show. We will talk about, let's say, the first topic, and then if you have any questions or anything in the chat that you want answered, we'll try to answer them right there. Cool? So
Yep.
we got a hot crowd with 3 viewers in the group, which is dope. It's our highest audience to date. I feel like Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho, the Sex Gods, versus I forgot who the best friends, in which they were defeated by Sasha Banks and Bailey.
I think the world defeated Sammy Guevara this week.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rough week for Sammy Guevara, even though I don't think that was the first topic I was going to talk about. But why not? Let's zoom into that one. Let's see if it works with the graphic. Bang! It didn't work. There we go. First failure of the day with the special effects. It continues to fail me. I don't know why. Why didn't it work? I selected Sammy Guevara. There we go. Sammy Guevara is suspended by AEW Wrestling. Reasons? Because in 2016, on some audio show, he
Don't
decided
say the
to
word. Don't say
he
the word.
decided no. I've said the word on our show before. He said he was too distracted, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, in his WWE tryout by the presence of Sasha Banks, and he wanted to quote unquote rape Sasha Banks. Manny, how do you feel about rape jokes? That's the worst way to word that.
I didn't know how. I saw the rundown. I didn't know it was going to lead into that. It. I don't know. Like now. It doesn't feel right that these jokes are funny. But then I remember when Dave Chappelle did that joke in one of his specials where about Bill Cosby. He rapes, but he saves.
But I think there's, and this is a touchy subject, and I don't want to be the guy to say rape jokes are the best. I'm not that guy. I'm just saying that there's a way to do jokes, but I don't think you ever should put yourself into a real scenario of committing a crime and saying it. Like, I know that's mostly what he was doing was like locker room talk, and you shouldn't really say, like, basically what he's saying is he wanted her so bad he would just tackle her and go after her, which, a lot of guys have said. But you shouldn't use the term, I'm going to rape, I wanted to rape the shit out of you, basically. Like, throwing yourself into that scenario, it's just really a bad look.
I think it works in a stage presence where you're a comedian, but anywhere else, I don't think you should be doing those types of jokes.
Yeah,
because like you go to see a comedian for laughs. You don't go there for a sermon, essentially, to say this is wrong or anything.
Yeah, and the difference between what Chappelle did and what Sammy Guevara did is that Chappelle showed the moral ground of how bad rape was. So Sammy Guevara just glorified it and was like, "Oh, rape is great, and I'm just going to do what I want." Like he was a caveman hitting a woman over the head with a club. So I think that overall, he it's a well-deserved suspension, and I believe Sasha Banks even went out and contacted him, and they had some type of dialogue. I believe you have the statement released from
Yeah,
Sasha,
so
right?
on Sasha Banks made the statement on Twitter, and it said earlier I spoke with Sammy. He apologized, and we had an open discussion. Words like the comments he made, jokingly or not, have absolutely no place in our society. I don't condone or tolerate this kind of behavior. What one thinks is just a side comment can have a massive impact on someone else's life and can send the wrong message. We have to hold ourselves accountable for our actions and the words we say. And I hope this situation shows him that I hope from this point on, in order for growth and change within our community to take place, we can all continue to have these conversations. No person, man, woman, or child should ever feel subjected to a feeling of fear or any unsafe environment. We all have to do better, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come. Sincerely, Mercedes Venado,
No, she went
which is
full
Sasha
name.
Banks. She
Yeah,
went
she
full
went.
name.
Because it's a real situation. I 100% agree with her sentiments and what she said in that statement. I thought she handled it well. Sammy released his statement as well and said, he's apologizing, he want to grow from this. And, the usual stuff what people says. And I'm sure what he meant was he wasn't intentionally trying to rape Sasha Banks that day. I don't think anybody would go on a podcast. But the suspension is understood. I believe everybody agrees with it. It should happen. He's been replaced this week on AEW by Santana in the match. Chris, to answer your question, Sammy Guevara is a tag team member. He's the understudy of Chris Jericho in the inner circle of AEW wrestling, and also his tag partner in a tag team group known as the Sex Gods, which name I think is probably going to change after this incident.
He's also the guy JR pins to be the next Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, and don't see that. Like, if anything, he's the next. He's a lot of next. Like, I see a lot of everything other than the next Eddie Guerrero. Like, I would even give, and I know this is the over-the-top one, but I give him the next Rock or Ric Flair. Like, his persona, he's a very larger-than-life guy, but he's a very small guy.
Yeah.
All right, so you have anything else to say about this?
No, I think Sasha Banks said it well, and I think we just need to move on.
Okay, so just to point out, I'm wearing a Shinsuke Nakamura Strong Style shirt, Chris, and Manny is wearing.
Oh, did he ask what shirt I'm wearing?
Yep,
It's a Manchester United jersey. Mwah!
How are they doing? I know they restarted the Premier League. Are they?
We drew with Spurs 1-1 on Friday night. We're still currently fifth. We're wanting to be in the top four, but who knows what's going to happen.
It's the COVID season. No one knows what's going to happen. My goal for the NBA is to come back and everybody's fat and out of shape and everybody sucks. And it's just like, this is what we wanted. This is what we got. But
are they talking about moving that again? So like not in Orlando.
Yeah, because Orlando in Florida, the virus numbers have increased. So it doesn't seem like the safest place. And plus, they're going to do this bubble, but they have the lockdown of the players are going to be locked into this bubble, but the employees of the Disney World park will not be. So they're just be coming in and out, but they can still get sick. So it's a lot of complications involving that. So it's just like to try to do a season. I think at this point they may just stop. Eric is talking about Chelsea. I could ask you, Eric, name one player that's currently on Chelsea.
Where does he say Chelsea?
In the chat. Oh, I can see
that.
Yeah. My chat's ahead of yours. I'm sorry. That's what it happens.
Special treatment. I
see.
When
you're the host and star of the Manny Niceland. Oh. We're moving on to the next topic, and that is to talk about The Undertaker, who announced his retirement. I think, allegedly,
a shady retirement.
A very shaky. Yeah, it didn't seem like it was actually a retirement, but it was, I guess, the final episode of The Last Ride. He had to retire if you call it The Last Ride. Otherwise, it wouldn't be The Last Ride. It would be the ride until the next one. So, he seemed to be satisfied with his ending. Manny, what was your thoughts on the entire series of The Undertaker The Last Ride?
Well, like, it was a case of, like, redemption the whole way through it. Like, he kept looking for this perfect ending, like how Shawn Michaels had it at WrestleMania 26, and he was chasing that, and then like he would always pick apart stuff that wasn't how he liked. And like I get that if you're a perfectionist and wanting to go out on your terms, and I think the way he went out with AJ is probably the best way he could have gone out at his age. There's no way he's getting that Shawn Michaels kind of ending to his career anymore.
Yeah, the chances of him getting a Ric Flair type ending, a Shawn Michaels type ending, I can't think of any other person in the history of sports, a Kobe Bryant type entrance who also got a reference on this episode. Kobe had an effect on the Undertaker's life apparently, because he took that death hard. Apparently, I didn't know that. And at one point, you see him shooting Kobe and stuff, but he took that hard and realized that there isn't a perfect ending. Like, I think that's what you kind of get from the moral story, is that you can try to create your own perfect ending. It's not his perfect ending. Technically, would have been Orlando when he hanged up the hat and the jacket. Even though it wasn't, he didn't like the match and thought it was complete shit. It was still like a nice way to go. The imagery and the emotions that went with it seemed like that was the end there.
I think that was the imagery he was looking for, but I think like the way he went out with AJ is probably like he went out as himself. Like he didn't go out as the Undertaker. He went out as Mark Calloway, and I think like that's the way he entered the business. I think this is the way he's leaving the business, which would be a good way to leave. And it's better him to leave now than it is to ruin whatever he's got by like having Vince call him back. Like, I know we're never gonna look back at that match at Saudi because it was a Saudi match.
Yeah, it doesn't count. Exhibitions.
Yeah, it's just like we're not gonna look at that and go, Shawn Michaels' career is now tainted because of it.
See, my thing with the Undertaker, I'm very selfish, and there's part of me that wants him to still chase it. I feel like there's a better ending. I feel like leaving on a documentary series is not the way to go. I feel he's one of the greatest of all time, and that he deserves that farewell in front of a crowd, at least. Even a retirement speech, at least.
I definitely think he's going to get that once like crowds are allowed back in, and then we'll get the symbolic moment about everything being left in the ring again. But like I think he's happy. From what it looked like from that final part of that documentary, he looked happy that he's come to terms with, his career's coming to an end. He doesn't need this anymore. But I didn't like the way he was like, oh, if Vince was ever in a pinch, I'd come back.
Yeah. The door is still left open. And I feel like he's going to come back. And I believe he's even going to come back this year. My theory is, if he wants that last match, he has to come back in front of a crowd and face a worthy opponent that can give him that last match. I think him and AJ may have a real match. That's what I'm thinking. It seemed like they were happy with this match, but both of them actually wanted that crowd match.
What did you think of The Undertaker teaching the big guys how to be big guys at NXT in the Performance Center?
I thought that was phony. I thought he was there and he was teaching them, but I don't think it didn't really show him actually teach them anything. He was just kind of going, "That's dope, big man. Good job, Keith Lee. Good job, Punishment Martinez."
Do you know what the other sign is? Because Nia Jax was there as well, and she didn't learn nothing.
No.
She has learned nothing.
She learned to knock you the F out. That's what it is.
She learned how to kill people, but she's been spending too much time with Tamina.
From The Undertaker. All right, so my last question is, if this is the end of The Undertaker, Manny, where would you rank him all time in wrestling? Because it's the longevity. He has a lot of moments. He is probably one of the most iconic wrestling characters, like that you just see, like that people will just recognize off the bat.
I think you put him under Flair.
So you got Flair number one, and then Taker.
So like I know it's not right to put Hulk Hogan on this list, but he made a massive impact on wrestling. So you got to put Hulk Hogan on this list, unfortunately, racist or not. So like if you think about money, what money made. He made money off of all of us. Like, let's be real. So you've got.
There's only one color is green.
Yeah, at some point you got to put him at number one, and that's unfortunate. But like, I think it goes. I think it goes Hogan, Flair. It can vary between Rock and Austin. I'd put them in the same level.
They're the
Maybe the Rock a
same.
little bit higher. Maybe the Rock a little bit higher. Then you throw the Undertaker and then maybe Cena underneath.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue a lot of it. For me, I feel like I may put Undertaker number one. And the reason is for longevity. He stayed loyal the entire time with his company. He was considered the leader of the locker room. He's never had any outside trouble. Like, there's never like... I mean, yeah, he supports Trump and, you know, the whole Make America Great Again stuff. But he's never actually been, like, arrested or been a dickhead like Shawn Michaels or lost money like Flair. He never had issues. You never hear anybody say anything really bad about The Undertaker. I think he has more iconic moments than any wrestler. Like, just imagery-wise, like, when you just see somebody, like, the eyes rolling in the back of the head, whether he's, you know, carving a coffin or posing in the middle of the ring with Paul Bearer with the urn, and all the entrances. Like, I feel like he was the thing that made... He was the supernatural thing that shouldn't have worked throughout the years of pro wrestling, but continued to work. And and it was a genuine sell, and that's why I might give him that number one spot. Like, I know there's better people who are better in ring and better talkers, but character wise, I don't know if anybody can touch him.
But wrestling Mount Rushmores will always vary between person to person, because you've got to look at the criteria everyone's looking at. If we put it based on characters and a gimmick, Undertaker's number one. Then Ric Flair, because he still lives that gimmick.
Limousine riding, maybe Volvo riding right now, but eventually I ride coach. He still lives that life. Wes asks, who would be the mid card Mount Rushmore?
Cody.
I would put Mr. Perfect. Because I know he achieved like world championship in WCW, but I always think of him as an Intercontinental champion. I may even put the Miz right there.
The Miz.
Maybe Jake the Snake.
I don't know.
Because these are people that never like got to that top spot, but they were always important characters. A snooker in there somewhere, you know. Like, I don't know. It's pretty tough.
I don't think Jake the Snake belongs
in the mid cards.
Yeah, like if you were to pick out four of the mid card, I don't think Jake the Snake fits.
That's an interesting question. It'll be something that we have to think more on. Like, this would be something for the Saturday show if we could put together our mid card Mount Rushmore, because this.
But then it's difficult because you'd have to look at eras. I don't think you could just base it off that, because there's so many mid carders.
Yeah, there's. So, you know, like even Dolph Ziggler, who's fighting for the title on Monday Night Raw, which is going to transition us to Monday Night Raw right now, just shows up on Raw, could be considered a mid-card Mount Rushmore contender, since he's been in the mid-card virtually his entire career. And he does amazing work with people, and he's just never ascended to that top. And it's mostly, it could be attributed to WWE just not pushing him. But there's something about him now in which he's just kind of floating around. He's getting this title shot with Drew McIntyre for no reason. How do you feel about that?
I think it was also highlighted on the Undertaker documentary. I just don't think the roster's built like it was back in the day. The reason why Dolph isn't at the position he is in. Like, they don't politic that as much now as they did before. And you can see that. That's why the same guys are getting pushed and pushed and pushed. Because no one else is going to bat for themselves anymore. Like, they're all accepting of it, and then when they leave, they go, oh, they never pushed me. Creative didn't do anything for me. I'm like, what are you guys doing? A lot of time you got to make decisions for yourself a lot of the time. Take a gamble on yourself.
Yeah.
Like, when you listen to the New Day story of, like, how they came about, Xavier was willing to be fired if it failed.
Yeah. I mean, that's where a lot of wrestlers need to do. They need to just take chances. The best wrestlers, I feel like, can make turn chicken shit into chicken salad, as I've been hearing a lot lately. And like, a lot of things should worse. like when you think about it, somebody brought up Goldust. Goldust, that should not have worked. But throughout the years, Dustin Rhodes embodied that character and even had it evolved. And he made it work. Currently, R-Truth doing really just nothing but a comedy act, making the 24/7 title work. A title that had no reason to work. It was considered dead on arrival, but he made that work. There are so many people, like, if you are a star, you can make anything work. And it doesn't matter what company you in. Like, earlier, Drew McIntyre was not working. And, you know, he wasn't clicking as the chosen one. They put him in 3B. He seemed to be having fun, but he still wasn't, like, clicking with, like, Vince and them on that. So he made himself better. And he extended to the top. Similar to even in AEW, Lance Archer, who was Lance Hoyt. I saw nothing in him. But the Murder Hawk, you know, there's a little bit more. I still see a little bit more money in the Murder Hawk than it was before. So, so this title match at Extreme Rules, are you looking forward to it? What do you think?
This is more just to push the needle to a bigger challenge for Drew. That's all it is. unless you get the glorious return of Bobby Roode, it's not going to be anything big.
They did bring Bobby Roode up in the trade, and I felt AJ was traded for cheap. It should have been Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode, cash consideration, and a 2024 draft pick to be named later. Because it's AJ Styles. It's considered, as Austin considers him, the greatest wrestler alive right now. And he got traded for basically Dolph Ziggler, a glorified mid-card comedy act who was ruffling up with Otis a week ago. So, moving on to other segments. The MVP, Lashley, Apollo Crews, Lana, everything came to a head, I think, this week. Kinda. And Shelton Benjamin, the black wrestler segment.
I don't think Lana was involved. Was Lana involved in this?
Slightly. She's done. It's officially done. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, that she moved on to Natty. That MVP is setting the sights on the United States title. Lashley is setting the sights on the United States title. Or somehow that they're targeting Apollo. More black on black crime in professional wrestling, but I'm all for it. How did you feel? And MVP, I think giving them the name The Hurt Business. I'm not 100% sure, but it seemed like that was what he was implying.
I was hoping he went the Hurt Locker like the movie. It would have sounded better.
Copyrighted by.
But I'm liking the direction this is going. Like, even MVP like made reference to like the little things on how Apollo won last week.
Yeah.
Like, but he was like, many people didn't notice that, but I noticed it.
No, everybody knows it.
We all noticed it, but like, Apollo fans probably wouldn't have seen it. It was like, oh, Apollo won, yay. But like, MVP was like, that guy cheated.
No one's seen that, huh? Only I saw that he cheated. He's a cheating snake, and he should be with me. But, I really enjoyed their recruitment and the story that they were telling, because you didn't honestly know where Apollo was going to go. I thought, or where Shelton, when they did the match, I didn't know if Shelton was going to join up with MVP, or if Apollo was going to join, or how it was going to go. I can't turn on the AC. There's no AC in there. Chainsawing got my windows, Chris. That's why I'm sweating so much. I'm going to die in this room. This is the Hurt Locker.
He's having a one-person Inferno match.
Yeah, this is the Hurt Locker right here. It is so hot in this room. But I am intrigued at this. Bobby Lashley also killed Tozawa's ninjas, but it also led to R-Truth losing to Tozawa and getting the 24/7 title.
Do you know what? I think, I hope this is the direction they're going in, but it's just speculation. But like, I hope this is the R-Truth turning slightly serious kind of thing.
You think that's gonna happen?
It could.
I think this is leading to a cinematic match with R-Truth and whoever, maybe the Viking Province, in a karate movie type cinematic match. They haven't did a karate movie yet in which they're doing dubbed over audio. I feel like that will work. I'm all for it, in which they just be like doing all types of moves.
Hold on. Also, as soon as you said dubbed, did you enjoy the piped in audio for the crowd noise this week?
No. I thought
It
it stood
wasn't
out.
really off-putting. It was off-putting because when you looked at some of the people that were standing there, they were
Yeah,
like looking at each other, like, well, talking to each other, and I'm like, what's going on here?
yeah, and they were picking choosing weird spots to do it too. And like when Seth was talking, I guess we could talk about Seth and Ray right now. When Seth was talking, they just had like this loud uproar of boos, and it really stood out. It really stood out, and it was not the best thing. What are they talking about?
They think you've got the virus.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely dying from the virus. No. It's because it's really hot in here. I don't have my fan on because it's gonna pick up on the audio. I have my window closed because they're chainsawing trees outside the window. I'm not gonna survive this. But Seth Rollins come out and the piped in audio. I felt like they just tried to mix and match stuff. It just didn't work for me throughout the show. They did it a lot better in the greatest wrestling match ever, but tonight it just seemed like it was just overkill. It was just them trying to really lay it on thick. How did you feel about Seth and Ray and Dominic?
Are we talking about the whole thing as a
Let's
whole?
put the whole thing as a whole.
The whole.
The whole.
I think it was really good, but I just didn't like the way it just ended the way it did.
Yeah.
So
keep talking.
like
I want to wipe sweat from my face.
So how they were about to push Seth's face into that steel step, and then they all got attacked by Buddy and Theory, and then suddenly the other two disappear. But Humberto and Aleister Black. And then they come back with chairs. They didn't try to swing the chairs. They just ran with the chairs. And it wasn't even a run. They just appeared. It's like someone just showed up with a chair. And then they started running.
Yeah, and so I enjoyed the segment, but I thought there was something weird about Rey Mysterio and Dominic both grabbing Seth Rollins and trying to take his eye too. I feel there was something evil. I know it's an eye for an eye, but I felt like they were going too far there. And yes, Aleister Black and Humberto made the save with the chairs, but the original save was by Austin Theory and Murphy, who stopped them from blinding Seth Rollins. I didn't know if they were going to cheat, but it was so many people trying to blind each other on that stair. I think they tried to blind Dominic at one point. I mean, it was going like everybody wanted to. It was like take an eye out. It was a new match of I'm going to take your eye out type of match. I don't know. I don't have a title for it. An eye for an eye match in which you have to take out an eye. Even though I believe
imagine how cold that would have been if he did it to Dominic in front of Ray.
Yep. It would been that would give him extra heel points. I mean, I'm calling Randy Orton the best heel in the game right now, but if he would have got Dominic's eye, that would have made him the number one heel in the game because he would have took two Mysterio's eyes. Moving to the next story. Oh, I'm blanking out. Oh, the women. Sasha and Bailey are going for it all. They're going for every belt possible in a women's division, and I don't even know if they're going after EL's belt. But they implied that last week.
We can't start like that. Start from the very beginning.
Okay, so how would you start it?
You got Nia Jax coming out interrupting a segment, which was supposed to be the 24/7 match between R-Truth and Tozawa. But she took out a chair, sat in the middle of the ring, and started talking shit.
That was the worst protest ever.
And then the Queen came out talking her shit. But what I believe was cut out as Charlotte waited for someone to hold down the rope so she could enter the ring, because Nia was all about talking about family. And it started with Charlotte going, "Oh, you want to talk about family?" And then we never really got what Charlotte wanted to say. And I believe it got cut. But I believe Charlotte should have said, "Nia, are we forgetting that your cousin's The Rock?" Because you wouldn't have a job here anymore if he wasn't.
No, you would be on AEW Dark right now wrestling if it wasn't for The Rock. Because it was what's the word I'm looking for? It just seemed like it was there. And it seemed like there was more there in that promo, other than her saying, "Is anybody going to let me into the ring?" I feel like she pointed to The Rock's daughter and said, "There's your real replacement. We don't have to think about you anymore if we have The Rock's daughter." So, with that being said, hello, El Luchador. With that being said, I feel like there was a lot lost, but this ended up with Charlotte getting her arm broken by Nia Jax, storyline wise, not for real, in the back, and Charlotte will take time off, which seemed like to be the delight of a lot of people.
Which led to a very we glossed over the match. So
we did. I
forget. Before the segment at the end where her arm got destroyed, but so. In this pull apart between Charlotte and Finn before the match happened between Charlotte and Nia Jax, that some damage happened to Charlotte's arm. I don't remember seeing it, but it happened, which played the story going into the match where Asuka was going into various arm submissions and arm bars and chicken wings and Asuka locks, and it was a very good match, and we got an ending, but there's a little star there, which Charlotte's probably going to use when she comes back. Asuka, you never beat me when I was 100%, because Nia Jax injured me. And that's when Nia Jax decided to take out Charlotte at the back, and then now we learn that Charlotte's going to take a couple of months off.
With Charlotte being gone, it does open the opportunity for more of the wrestlers. Hopefully they bring back Shayna, who's been really missing, and Bianca, who they called up and they have done nothing with.
I honestly think this is the time now. This is the time for Bianca to shine, if they were to bring her back into the fold, because Charlotte's not there overshadowing. But the other thing is, I would like to see less of Bayley and Sasha now on Raw and allow that division to grow, because there's not much there, is there?
No, it's not. I mean, we saw Lana and Natty. I guess Lana rejuvenated Natty's career. I don't want that. We saw Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott align, whatever. But I am intrigued with Sasha and Bayley going for all the belts. They disposed of the Iconics, which I was heartbroken by, because I thought the Iconics were going to win tonight, and this would be the end of Sasha and Bayley, and it'll lead to their match. But it wasn't. It just led to them more. It just led to more that Sasha wants to be Sasha 2 belts or those straps or whatever they want, but they want all the gold. And to be honest, I would give them all the gold.
I don't see anything wrong with that either myself, but I just think we're stuck in this situation where we rely on all those 4 women.
Yeah.
But I know Becky's on maternity leave right now, but and you got Charlotte off. Now they're going to heavily rely on Bayley and Sasha when you've got other talent there. You need to trust your other talent.
Yeah, I feel like there was a switch though. When they beat the Sex Gods in the main event this week, I feel like they were like, Vince went to him was like, "These girls are gold. We need to use them on every single show to boost every ratings." And I can see Vince going that route with it. Like whatever the original plan was, I think that they were supposed to lose this week, but then that ratings boost on NXT in which they won the main event battle, they may have changed that up. What else is there to talk about on Raw? What am I missing?
There's one more. Oh, wait. How good was that men's tag team match?
Oh, yeah, man. You've been waiting for it. Here you go.
It was a very good tag match.
It was 4 minutes.
I don't even care. Like, I even watched this on 1.25 speed when I was watching the playback. But it was a very good match.
Yeah.
Like, I know it got interrupted at the end with the I don't know what they're calling themselves, but Andrade and Angel Garza. But it was that's all I needed on Backlash. That's all I needed.
I needed more Viking Profits. I enjoyed this match. The highlight for me is Angelo Dawkins looked good. And I don't know what it was, but I felt like he actually looked like a wrestler this week. And Ford had the best frog splash in the game. Like he really got up there. I was like, man, that was so high.
That was incredible. And then I also liked. I think it was Ivar. Was it Ivar or was it the other one? Ro.
Which one?
When Ro, I think Ro caught Montez. outside of the
Oh
ring,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
and
Eric.
then power bombed him into. That was beautiful.
Yeah, Chris, we're talking about the tag team title match that finally took place on Monday Night Raw that the Big Show set up. Oh, we didn't even talk about Big Show and Randy Orton, Ric Flair in that scenario.
I don't know why the Big Show's the one coming out of the water for this.
The reason you can do Big Show, his name has cachet. It's a empty arena match, so it's not going to be "Please retire, Big Show" chants, and you can edit it heavily to make it look like a really good match. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. They got to throw some people in front of Randy to keep him an edge in this feud. Both of them, I thought, cut really good promos. Randy Edge is going back to rated R. I don't know what the difference is between Grit and being rated R, but I guess we'll find out in 8 months or whenever he comes back.
Rated R means you're willing to do whatever you want. Whatever's needed. I'll step on your throat if it means getting to where I need to go.
Oh, but I thought both of them cut good promos back to back. Ric Flair declared this is all leading to the death of Ric Flair, guys. Like, I feel like that's where the storyline is going, and I believe that we're going to get Randy Orton and Triple H at SummerSlam because he's killing legends. Triple H is still wrestling and hasn't had a retirement match and hasn't retired in a documentary, and Randy Orton is going to fight him at SummerSlam in a quality match. And I feel like all the older wrestlers right now are going to benefit from these tape shows where things can be edited, where they can do their best work and hide some of their flaws. Live sex celebration. He's going to do a live sex celebration with Beth after. Or, you know, if he's rated R, does he bring back Lita? Or does he come out with his wife, Beth?
Well, he has to come out with his wife now, doesn't he?
If I'm rated R, I go back
they're rated. They're not even rated. Him and Beth are not even rated PG.
Rated G. Rated E for everyone. They go to video games. That's how bad it is. But yeah, I thought Raw was another solid show, and I still haven't noticed any transitional change between the Heyman and the Pritchard era. It seems like the same people are getting pushed, and there's not really a change of direction. But I've enjoyed both shows.
I think I got more out of Apollo this week than I did even when Heyman was there. But that might be just because Apollo, they're more confident in Apollo in what he can and can't do.
Yeah, I think they're really helping Apollo with his mic work. They're giving him more time, and you can become more comfortable in this type of environment than with 20,000 or 15 or whatever thousand people chanting stuff in the middle of your promos. So shout out to Apollo for getting better. I don't know where it's going for him. I don't know if he's going for the whole MVP's 340. I forgot MVP had whatever record he has of holding it for 340 days, but I can't see Apollo making it.
Do you remember that title reign? Because I don't necessarily remember that title reign from MVP.
I believe this is the time in which he was the highest free agent, and that he may have ended up feuding with Matt Hardy. And they were doing their I'm better than you challenges. Maybe. Somewhere in there. But when he said 340 days, I was like, I do not remember this. At all. At all, MVP. It's the honky tonk man, I remember. You being the United States champion for 340 days, I do not remember. Do you have any more to that? So right now, we will take questions from our esteemed Sharpie Nation.
While we wait for questions to roll in, what did you think of Raw overall?
Oh, I thought it was great. I thought it was a good show. I wish Drew McIntyre wasn't fighting Dolph Ziggler, but I'm interested to see how they try to build up Ziggler again.
Yeah,
that's the only drawback I had to show. Everything else I was fine with. I know Natty and Lana, but that was such a minor part. I don't care.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Raw. I think it told great stories, and the matches were really, really good TV matches. Like, not pay-per-view quality. I don't need pay-per-view quality for TV, but like these were good TV matches.
Yep. Oh, I know I forgot a news story. Manny, how do you feel about the cancellation of WWE Backstage?
I only ever watched it on YouTube.
It was a show designed to be canceled.
in reality, do you really need it? Like, you could do all this stuff on like Raw Talk or what was a SmackDown one? Talking Smack.
Talking
Just bring
Smack, they
those
have the
back. Yeah,
bump.
bring those all back. You don't need this show. Like, it wasn't, and it was at what time was it on FS1? Like midnight.
Yeah, it was on 11:30 after a bunch of taped wrestling shows or whatever. It just came on at weird time. It's like, yeah, I enjoyed the show. It's not gonna be well missed. I'm not gonna be like, oh man, they took off backstage. It was so great. It's not like losing Talking Smack. Talking Smack was their best produced show, and the fact that CM Punk, as Eric alluded to, is gone completely out of the WWE eyes. I
don't necessarily think they were going to do any business with him otherwise anyway, outside of Fox's dealings. So this is a win for Vince, I would presume.
Yeah, or it's also another bargaining chip if he wants to try to bring Punk in. Considering that Randy Orton calls himself the greatest of all time, we can have the greatest versus the best if they ever want to go that route, and CM Punk versus Randy Orton in time to fill Edge. You know, the filler of the Edge feud. But I don't think we're going to get that. So I wouldn't even tease it.
I think CM Punk fans need to realize you're not getting the Punk you did how many years ago. Yeah. Even if he was to come back, like other than that, he's just a name. Like, he's not going to be as good as he was. He's in his mid-40s now, I'd presume. Like,
yeah,
you're
but
not gonna...
Edge is in there, and you can probably still do a little bit, especially in these taped environments. But I wouldn't bring Punk back in the tapes, in the performance era of wrestling, pandemic era.
Not. Well, to be honest, if they did bring him back, the ratings would go up. That's one. But
all right, as Chris brought up, who would you? I mean, he didn't say this exactly. Who would you rather see, AJ Lee back or CM Punk back?
CM Punk.
Okay.
What did AJ Lee for?
She can be in that women's division.
All of the women have evolved past her.
But, she didn't get the opportunity to enjoy the women's evolution or revolution, whatever the hell it's called. So like, she was on the bridge of that. Like, she was right there, and the bridge collapsed on her.
Look at all the good things that AJ has done. And then watch the women's evolution just because
I don't know.
I'm now off screen. I can't even make my hand go higher anymore.
AJ was main eventing. She was main eventing Raws before the women. I mean, they weren't matches, but she was main eventing Raws and the general manager Raw. Like 50% of these 3-hour Raws back when AJ was in her prime was a lot of AJ Lee. She was in like every segment being crazy. Whether she was with Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, about to attempt to commit suicide, jumping through tables, the Dolph Ziggler Big E run. She was in like every segment. And she was also the longest reigning Divas champion until Nikki Bella knocked her off the mantle.
Yeah, I still think like the women's division has evolved since. Like, she was a cornerstone. I'm not discrediting everything she's done, but I feel like the talent they have now is way better than the talent of the past. Even though they weren't given the chance, I understand. How dare you say I'm drunk, Chris?
You're drunk. Alright, so I'm going to wrap this show up before I have exhausted. I die live on camera, and it just keeps going on because no one's here to actually hit stop. It just keeps going on.
Chris,
it's like,
if anyone needs to be tested, it should be you.
The Sharpshooters did not condone any abuse of alcohol, drug testing, or rape charges. So that is the end of the show. I'm Marcus.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
And this is the Marcus and Manny Show. Hey, hey.
Ho, ho. If you've got any emails, send them to the sharpshooters at gmail.com. And if it's for the Marcus and Manny Show, put that in the title.
Eric will only see the email. We'll get it late. It's not gonna work. We will never look at your email. Just tune in live or comment on the post when we post it on the Sharpshooters page or something. Just figure it out. I'm sure there's ways to get in contact with us. I'm sure.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Manny Das. That's my name with DAS at the end. I'm not sure
Yeah.
Marcus still does those things.
I'm somewhere around. I just loom. I loom. Repost shit. I just share people's stuff. I never want to put my own words online. I just share stuff now. That way, when they come back me years later, they be like, Marcus, you posted this about that. And I'm like, nah, I didn't do that. All right.
What have we started in this chat?
I don't know. What's going on? Actually, oh, wow. Them fighting words. I'm Chris. What? I already did. Whoa. That didn't have energy. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Well, apparently this is vodka. No, it is Evian water. The high quality water.
This is Evian man.
Can I send a second email? Yes, you can.
Maybe. Nah, go ahead. Send as many emails as you can. Send as many comments as you want on the page. We're down for anything. This is the bar.
What is with all the red? I forgot this was the Raw show, so Marcus had the banner with red up and down here. Then I forgot about the red, and then I wore a red shirt, which probably wasn't a good idea.
And I didn't even think about it, and I wore more red because this is the blood show. We
spit hot fire.
We hit hot fire. I bet you guys didn't notice we replaced all our C's with B's throughout the show. I hope you guys noticed that. But tune in again. Rewind it. Yeah, rewind it once. See how many times that I changed words with C's with B's. Well, you did say the Belsey players. Oh, someone shooting fireworks outside my window now. What is going on?
Marcus is under attack.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of World War II. I'm just going to end the show before I explode and die. Here's the outro page. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Later.
Peace.